I'll tell you what, I've just thought in something that really bugged me, more so when I left the band and was just listening into radio programmes, was the amount of use the tenor was put to the tenor drum.
Right.
And that they were coming in and off beats and cross rhythms and stuff. And it got to the stage where the tenor section, of course, there was more of them.
Aye.
There used to be just two in the band.
Aye.
Adam and Lucky.
That's
and,
right.
Now they've got 4 and 5.
We've got 6.
And aye, 3 on either side. And
Aye.
I've even seen one with 2 bass drums. But the sound that they make now is much quieter. So I think there's been a lot of criticism about this overpowering bump,
Too
bump.
predominant. Aye.
Because I remember in a recording complaining about Adam.
Aye.
I'm assuming it was Adam or Lackey.
Aye.
We were making a recording down at Leith.
Aye.
And the sound was coming through far too heavy.
I remember that Leith thing. Aye.
Remember we used to have the bass drum on one end of the stage and the pipers on the other end and the snare drummers away in this corner here.
Aye.
It was horrendous. We weren't used to it, of course.
No,
Now it's,
and the technical ability to record pipe bands at that time was very poor as well. They weren't used to recording very loud bands. They were used to recording guys with a guitar and a snare drum or something, you know.
Nowadays you don't hear the bands being recorded in a studio. They're either in the concert hall in Glasgow or else it's a recording of the actual competition.
How do you stop this predominance of the percussion section of the pipe being overpowering in the likes of the concert hall in Glasgow? I think there's been various things like deflectors and all the rest to use it between the pipers and the drummers, but it never seems to work.
Technology, you mean?
No, let's Ward, the leading drummer, he always wanted his full drum corps on. He wouldn't countings going on with 5 sides, just to sort of downplay it a wee bit, you know. And this was, but he wasn't the only one. It was just about every drum corps that did the concerts insisted on their full drum corps. And if you're sitting at certain parts of the hall, it was okay, but other parts it was very bad. Because again,
I suppose I can understand that. Different places you're at in the hall.
You alluded to numbers there a wee minute ago. What's your opinion? I mean, you had in your day, I don't know if you'd any more than 4, maybe you had 5 at one point.
5 at one time.
And then 2 tenors and a bass. And now I've counted 10, 11 snares, 5 or 6 tenors and a bass. And sometimes the drum corps bigger than the pipe corps. And I'm not joking.
I was just going to say that, but generally speaking, the pipers have increased in numbers as well.
Aye.
But as you say...
But if you get caught out on a bad day, for instance, and you're down to 16, 17, 18, there's much... So, what's your opinion about large drum corps?
Oh, I like them. I like them because you can relax more. We used to go in with between 3 and 5 snare drummers. You felt you had to play it, and I was never a heavy player. I was always I like to think of myself as an accompanist rather than a driver, you know. And if you've got 6, 7, 8 snare drummers, you can go in there nice and relaxed. And if you've scored the thing properly, you don't take all the weight yourself in the piano part. It's distributed among the whole corps, and it becomes a relaxed performance as opposed to trying to pressure it.
Okay, so it's a volume thing that you're trying to produce volume with a small corps, and you don't need to do that because the larger corps producing the volume and whatever.
No, you're talking about, just come to mind about the tone of the drum that's helps in one way or the other, either with a depth of a tone. In the old days when we had the calfskin, there was a depth of the drum that came through the pipe band, whereas the modern skins that they put on the snare drums, they were tightened so much that it was like playing on a hardboard table, as opposed to getting a sort of resonance coming through. And that's what I always missed. After I left, I was always a severe critic of this hardboard sound that they produced. And the fewer drummers you have, the less volume you're going to have collectively.
Yeah.
You know?
Did the Pearl and the other, who's the other maker? Your two main makers of drums.
Premier.
Premier. Did they differ in the tone of the instruments, the drums?
What they did do, it seemed to me, is they put more rods in them, and the pressure on the drum head was more even when you were tightening it.
Yeah.
Whereas if you only had 8 screws, then there was bits getting pulled down, different pressure than others, you know.
So it wasn't an even pressure through the head.
But generally speaking, that happened with all marching drums. There was more rods put in.
Aye.
For instance, the one I was talking about there in that picture I brought back from Australia when I was out there, the drum manufacturer there, and he gave the police, donated a full set of snare drums, 4 or 5 I think, and they had more rods in them, and he was the one, as far as I was concerned, that invented the Kevlar skin, the stuff they made the bulletproof waistcoats out of. He made drum heads out of that, and I thought they were great. It was like a fabric rather than a vellum. A plastic. And the sound was tremendous.
And did they move away from that?
I believe they're still using it.
They're still
to a certain extent, but they've got other ones that are every bit as good now.
So they're constantly developing the pipe band drum
technology, Alan.
Yeah.
The progress.
So you're a fan of the big core then, eh?
Well, I like not a huge core.
I thought they took up too many seats in the bus, Alec.
Well, that was one thing in our day. We were always outnumbered in the bus.
You always sat in the back seat.
Aye.
The back seat was enough for you.
Aye. Them were the days.
Aye.